Man, I love making videos like this because it means stuff is happening. Ladies and gentlemen, get your big pens out because today we are talking about Brooks Rogowski. Yeah, because of the memes that everybody has been throwing around on Twitter, whenever I think about Brooks Rogowski, I just think of Mike Wazowski and the entire Mike Wazowski part of Monsters Incorporated. Is anybody else of that mindset, or am I just weird? I think it's probably a little bit of both. But anyways, Brooks Rogowski is our conversation today. As continuing on with the World Junior Summer Showcase, we had ourselves a really interesting conversation from today's game in the showcase. Take a look at this. Saturday, August 1st, 2026, we had ourselves Team USA dominating Team Canada 7-2, the final score. And of course, if you were paying attention to whom it was the Vancouver Canucks had drafted and developed, you would know that this game had 3 Vancouver Canucks guys in the system. Brooks Rogowski, of course, suited up for Team USA. He got a tripping penalty and a goal. And then you also had Caleb Malhotra and Braden Coots suiting up for the Canadian squad. A Canadian squad that ultimately got destroyed. But everybody is talking about Rogowski because of his 5-2 goal late in the second period. This is a goal where the big man picks the puck up in the neutral zone, he dangles around the forecheck, and then he comes in on a little 2-on-1. He's smooth, he's quick, he's precise, he fires, he shoots, and he scores. I don't know about you, but a simple, on-the-rush little play where the guy has a passing option that unfortunately is not visible on the screen at this point. But look at this shot. Rogowski, he's covering the puck, he's got it on the far forehand, and then he pulls it inward ever so slightly to fire it through, change the angle, and go blocker side on the Canadian goaltender. Dare I say that this goal is quite reminiscent of the rookie Brock Besser goals that we saw from a decade ago. Maybe that's a little bit of a stretch considering the fact that Rogowski, the Canucks didn't draft this guy thinking, he'd be a 40-goal scorer one day. That's probably not the idea that they had when they took him. 6'7", 236 pounds, he's a big dude, and he scored 15 goals in 46 games this most recent season. That's not bad, right? But for a guy to go out there and just have the skill to do a nice little toe driggy, really quick, change the angle, shoot, score, and celebrate, that, of course, is a pretty good mark for a guy in Rogowski that the Vancouver Canucks are looking to see more out of as he continues his development. Rogowski is going to be going back over to Oshawa, it looks like, before heading over to Michigan State University, so he's going to have a long time to develop and hone his skills after being a sub-point-per-game OHL player in this previously completed season. The comments are going kind of crazy when you talk about this Brooks Rogowski goal. As a Canucks fan, I could not be happier. As a Canadian, this sucks. It's exhibition, don't be too upset. Save that for the real deal. You would have to think that the big man has solidified his spot on the regular World Junior roster. That's his 3rd goal of the tournament. I would say so, Jay Riches says. He was playing on the Unit 1 power play too. And that ultimately is the biggest benefit that we get as fans while watching the World Junior Summer Showcase. That's exactly what it is, a summer showcase. This tournament isn't really to be taken too seriously, but what should be taken seriously is the performances of the guys within, because a lot of these players, especially the 18-year-olds, they are going to be fighting for spots for the regular World Junior team. The regular World Juniors is U20, so there are 18 and 19-year-olds available for the tournament. If you're 18, you generally have a lesser chance of getting in. Brooks Rogowski, though, I mean, if they're using him on the power play, if he is a solidified goal-scoring stud, he's already got 3 goals on the tournament, I think. This is a player that I think definitely deserves a chance to make his presence known on the regular World Junior stage, especially considering the play that he has brought to the ice regardless. I mean, yeah, 3rd goal of the tournament, it's a beauty. Imagine being 18, 6'7", and 235 and still somehow moving pretty well. This is a potential monster in the making. Great release while breaking his stick. Okay, let's just comment with that. Interestingly enough, there are a number of replies pointing out the fact that Keaton Verhoeff, San Jose Sharks prospect that got walked, kind of looked like a pylon there. Honestly, I was not all that impressed with his overall play when he played on the Royals before he committed to the NCAA. I went to some Royals games and watched him a few times, didn't like some of his awkward gap control, and in the series the Royals lost to Spokane, he was beaten in the corner for in-puck battles against the Spokane forward. Granted, Crystal and Keaton were pretty much unstoppable as a duo, and I shouldn't hold much against him for that, as he was playing against them as a 16-year-old. That said, I saw more of Tyler Myers in Keaton Verhoeff than a bona fide number 1 right-handed D. I think with his frame and a right-handed D, pretty much elevates his floor, but I don't see him hitting the ceiling that some project him to be having. So, there you go. I mean, say what you want about Keaton Verhoeff and the fact that he was able to not really do much in this play over here, just kind of standing still in the middle, not taking the shot, giving Rogowski so much time and space. Speaking about Canadian guys, let's talk briefly about Coots and Malhotra, the fact that they were together in this game. They were playing on the same line, actually. Braden Coots, second-line right wing, beside Caleb Malhotra. Cole Reshny as the number 1 forward. I believe he also had the captaincy as well in this game. But this comment says, anytime both Malhotra and Coots are on the ice together, something happens offensively. That power play was useless until those two got on halfway through, and then suddenly there was possession and movement and chances. Would you look at that? The first goal, and both Malhotra and Coots were on the ice. The forechecking pressure from those two let Belchez steal and score. Just in case you were looking at the actual play-by-play, I mean, yeah, Brooks Rogowski scored his 5-2 goal, assisted by Carter Sanderson and Mason West. For the Canadiens, you had goals from Belchez and Gilkin. No points from Malhotra and Braden Coots. But ultimately, just thinking about the Vancouver Canucks of it all, Brooks Rogowski is a guy that I think we're going to have to really pay attention to over the upcoming year. The OHL hasn't necessarily been the best for Vancouver Canucks prospects over the past decade. Like, obviously, Bo Horvat and Olli Juolevi are the two that stand out. Jared McCann, too, I guess. But with guys, like, I'm going to go out there and start with Artur Shilovs because, hey, he did play OHL hockey, technically. He had 1 season with the Barrie Colts. This was sort of the turning point, I would say. Shilovs, and then Anthony Romani has been doing some really good things. He was a stud with North Bay before taking his talent over to Michigan State, and now he could be a potential dark horse. Brooks Rogowski is also one of these guys that hopefully will be bringing some positive OHL development into the Canucks organization and proving it on the ice long term. Same thing could be said about Adam Novotny. Same thing could be said about Caleb Malhotra. The Canucks stopped going to the OHL for a while between the Quinn Hugheses and the Elias Petterssons of it all, and then the Podkolzins, and then in 2020 they didn't have their first round pick because they traded it away for Tyler Toffoli. And then Lekaramaki, and then Vilander, and then who else did they take in the first round over the years? That's a great question, right? Canucks didn't really have that much of a draft history before Alvin and Rutherford got kicked out. But either way, you can let me know your thoughts in the comments section. OHL prosperity, Brooks Rogowski, Mike Wazowski. Let me know in the comments all your opinions. I hope you enjoyed this British Roll 9, and bye.